Welcome to a special road edition, Dirty Mo Doe. I'm your host, Steve Letarte. In the South Charlotte Tampa Timms studio, we got Tampa, we got producer Trav, and we got Professor, if his internet holds up, is going to join us all morning. Congratulations, Professor. So far, so good.
I'm trying.
I'm on the road. That's why it's a road edition. I'm in Louisville. Don't come to Louisville often, but I'm here after dropping the little one off at college. That's why I got a brand new t-shirt hoodie here. If you're not watching, it's a Northwestern hoodie. Me and Legal drove all the way to Chicago, and we decided not to drive all the way home in one stop. That's why we're in Louisville.
Wait, off the pod, she's the assistant. Now we're on, and now she's Legal. Suddenly, the respect has gone higher.
Hey, listen, man. When we go public, it's in her writer to be discussed as legal and legal only. So yes, the lighting. If you are watching in this hotel room, this lighting is brought to you by Legal. She worked very hard to get this set correctly.
What's the best part of the little one's dorm? Tell me about it.
Oh, I sent Russ a video. He'd love this. So I move her in, and her dorm is 99 steps to a Lou Malnati's.
Amazing.
Now I know why.
Front door of the dorm, it's like 130, but if you go out the side door of the dorm, it's 100. It's less than 100 steps to a Lou Malnati's.
Russ is going to be texting her to see if she can ship some pizza back, some dry ice.
I'm telling you, man, we had a big time. We had Lou Malnati's one night. I'm a big Chicago fan. It's fun. Great city.
Minus the winter.
Minus the winter and their sports. Yeah, Chicago sports. New England guy. I can't cheer you on. I'm sorry. I mean, the Bulls are iconic, right? The Cubs are super famous, but I can't cheer for any of them.
I respect that.
Speaking of cheering, how many bettors were cheering on SVG as he took the lead into one, took the white flag, looking like a big winner, and then Chris Buescher from Prosper, Texas, through the carousel for the big win. How did that strike you, Tampa?
It wasn't great. I mean, we had the Buescher top 10, though. That was our lock of the week, so we were sitting good there. I just thought they would wreck each other and we'd lose both. But I'll take the one. It was a good, clean race. So once he bumped him into the one, I was like, he's getting it back. And Buescher had a rocket there, so.
And listen, let me add, shame on us. Connor Zilic, pole and win on Saturday. We didn't even talk about him last week on the pod. Mm-hmm. I knew he was in the race. I thought he'd be okay, but even I did. I'm like, look, Saturdays are tough. The kid's going to run okay. Not worth a mention. You know what, Connor? Tip of the hat to you, young man. I saw he did the beer toast with a Red Bull can. I like that. He's 3 years away from having a cold Budweiser.
As soon as you can get a over-under wins on Connor Zilic for next year, it should be like minimum 5.
Wow. That's what the line should be? That's what you're giving Vegas?
Well, yeah, damn it, Russ. Did you text Vegas this already?
Well, we have 7 road courses next year in Xfinity. Like, that dude is incredible. Like, he would have been top 10 in the Cup race, in my opinion.
TJ was saying, majors who spotted for him, at the end they're telling him to save fuel and let up, and he's letting up, and his times are still faster than people that weren't letting up, saving gas.
Things I never want to say in life. I agree with TJ. Like, it was hard. I knew they were all short on fuel, so he was running basically the same lap times as everyone else, and that's because he could have gone a half a second or a second faster. So to your point, we didn't think he was saving fuel. Well, we didn't know he was so fast that was his saving fuel pace. And I was like, man, that's impressive.
For 18 years old, too. Like, there's veterans that can't do that.
Oh, totally agree. Now, our football tickets, I think next week I'm just going to print all the tickets and throw darts and just bet whatever the darts hit because I can't hit them anyway. We did all get on one big Monday night game, though.
This is what happened. Saquon Barkley's so used to not being able to have the football in his hands from Daniel Jones that it screwed us. If Daniel Jones could have just threw a couple passes that would be close to being towards Saquon's hands over the years, he would have been easy to catch that ball and would have won. And it would have cashed. Everything would have cashed. My Saquon bet would have cashed. The over would have cashed. The cover would have cashed.
I don't know about the over.
Daniel Jones.
Over was backdoor.
Was it?
It was a back door. We were 3.5 short.
Oh.
Well, no, I had just a field goal it would have kicked.
Oh, so they had 46.5.
Yeah, I had 45.
I'd have got set on the half point short.
I ended up because there was a boost with Saquon and Bijan for combined rushing yards. That sailed. And then Devontae Smith anytime touchdown.
Well, listen to the end of the pod because we have a new feature this week. We're going to call it, what are we calling it? The Degenerate 4-pack? Basically, the Degenerate 4-pack, what we're going to do is each person on this pod is responsible to bring a leg. It has to be a non-racing bet because I'm taking part, so it can't be anything that I'm exempt from. So it's going to have to be a non-racing wager. Everyone has to take a leg. You're going to publicly mention the leg. It's going to be a legitimate ticket posted. There will be a receipt photo. We're thinking $5 a man right now is what we're in. If we continue to lose, it could get down to $2 a man. There's no telling where it could go by the end of the season.
I got a quarter.
Yeah, we're doing a four-legger. Basically, it's a medium coffee at Starbucks a man, four-legger. And we're going to give it at the end of each week. So let's jump right in it then. We head to the high banks of Bristol. Xfinity Series finishes their regular season. We're not going to ignore that. We'll at least take a quick mention of that. Cup Series, though, ends the round one of the playoffs. Huge storylines of round one. Joe Logano won week one. No playoff guy won week two. Matter of fact, no playoff guy inside the top five. It was total chaos. If you were a playoff guy, you hit something. That's basically how it worked. We have Dirty Mode co-host over there on Actions Detrimental, Denny Hamlin, who has had just an atrocious round one. He got in a wreck both races. He's below the line. We got Truex below the line after a pretty good race, but then it turned cold at the end. Who else we got there?
So here, let's just read off.
Bottom four. Give me the bottom four.
Burton minus 20, Truex minus 14, Keselowski minus 12, Hamlin minus 6.
So let me tell you why that's stop right there. Let me tell you why that's fascinating. Below the cut line, Hamlin, Truex, Keselowski, they are the three that finished 1, 2, 3 at Bristol in the spring.
And they're the three oldest guys in the field.
Fascinating. What's that, Professor?
And they're the three oldest guys in the field.
Telling you.
All right, so I want to read off the rest. You tell me when a driver is no longer nervous going into this race. Gibbs plus 6, Briscoe plus 6, Byron plus 25, Larson plus 26, Blaney plus 29, Elliott plus 30.
There you go. Elliott up. Elliott feels good at plus 30. I mean, when I say good, like he's not skipping in there like it's going to be like anything can happen. But he's not just plus 30. He's plus 30 in what position?
7th.
He's 7th.
So think about this. You know, he could lose 30 to, say, Hamlin, or he might lose 30 to Brad. But he would also have to lose 1 to the guys behind him and 24 to the guys that are plus 6. And, you know, really for Elliott to be knocked out, it would have to be like a lap 50 accident. Now, if you get knocked out in stage 1 and you're sitting on jack stands not racing, then it becomes a Tampa Timms sweat bet. You're sitting there waiting for this thing to cash.
Oh, yeah.
That'll be like Truex waiting to see if he made the playoffs.
Same idea. All right, well, let's talk about the favorites. Jump right in. The floor is yours. I mean, I've never seen so many levels of a predictor. This thing here has more colors and numbers.
We got new colors.
Yeah, I like the colors. So this week we got Larson, Hamlin, Chase Elliott, Christopher Bell, Brad Keselowski is our tier 1 guys.
Storyline going back, same tire. I know Denny talked about it on his pod. The tire was the story of the spring. I don't think it's going to look exactly the same way. Like, I don't think we have to, you know, if you watch the spring race about every 50 laps, tires kind of disintegrated. You had to come to pit road. It was total chaos. It's not going to look exactly like that. The weather's different. The teams have learned, but it's still a big question mark. So, sorry, Professor, but that's a big point of the predictor.
Steve, as a crew chief, you learn about a tire. Let's say Denny said that he thinks the teams with the knowledge and everything could get like 10 to 15 laps more out of it. What, as a crew chief, what do you think?
Well, I agree. I think right now, if you go back, you could easily get another, say, 20% tire life. That would be like 12-ish laps or so. You do that with rear spring rate, rear shocks, air pressure, rear camber, and then you could probably go back and study who did what in the race and give your driver more of a target lap time. You know, they entered that race thinking they were racing, and then they ended up being kind of surviving, and that was a big shift in the middle of the race. I'm actually wondering which driver doesn't go, you know, I think a lot of drivers may go too far, you know, and they're going to be driving around these Cadillacs that will keep the tires on it all day long, and it's not going to be a Cadillac race. Next thing you know, you're going to have a sports car, and you're set up for tire life, right? So I think if you're Chase Elliott, you go too far and you're happy about it. If you're William Byron, you go too far and you're happy about it. And you go up there and you run 7th and everybody says it was an average day and you smile on to the next round. But if you're Truex or Hamlin or Brad, what is the magic mix to advance? Is it be conservative and survive, or be aggressive and push everyone else? And that we won't know. And we won't know in practice either. We didn't see anything in practice in the spring. This is going to be a Saturday night under the lights game time decision.
Speaking of Chase Elliott, Russ, you have him 3rd. Vegas has him 9th. What do you see in him? What do you like about him?
Well, I like the
I'm
fact
glad you
that-
asked.
What's that?
I'm glad he asked.
So I have him the last several Bristol races. He was 8th, 7th, 2nd. Then we had a 25th in there, a 7th, a 22nd, a 5th. So all the next gen races at Bristol, he's been top 10.
He's interesting because he's 19-1, and normally we look at that and be like, it's pretty low for Chase Elliott. That's pretty good odds, but I think he's like priced pretty appropriately for how he's ran. I mean, he really hasn't. When's the last time he had a top 5? I mean, he's not been up there at all. He won besides the Texas race.
And you look at his other short track races, he's been 9th, 3rd, 5th, 8th in this year. So that's why I have him up there so high.
I'm biting my lip because we haven't got to the driver that I love this week.
I bet it's my guy too. You like Chris Buescher? Did I say it? Is that the one? Is that the one you like? No. Okay. Chris Buescher's the head of Tier 2. Then Blaney, Ty Gibbs, Tyler Reddick, Kyle Busch. That's your guy, Kyle Busch. You can get into that.
Give me
Now, why do
Kyle
you like
Busch's
him?
numbers at Bristol. Career numbers at Bristol.
He's got 8 wins. He's got, I think, 8 wins in
8
Cup.
just in Cup. Just in Cup, 8 wins.
Just in Cup, 8 wins. But then he's got 9 wins in Xfinity and 5 in trucks.
That's 22 Bristol wins in the top 3 series, guys.
That's crazy.
And whether we like to say it or not, it didn't show because he got in wreck 1 at Watkins Glen. But he was good at Glen in the practice. Now, I know that's practice and we don't know, and he could have stunk in the race, But the speed that RCR has showed up with post-Olympic break, for me, Russ, you would agree, right? You looked at the practice times. I thought the 8 was a top 6 or 7 car at the Glen, maybe even better than that.
Yeah, he was around 10th. I had him around 10th. But lately at Bristol has been really tough. And the next gen car, his best finish is 20th.
I think that changes this race. But it's a long shot, 22-1. I mean, that's why you're getting 22-1. So you like Buescher. Let's hear it.
Yeah, well, I like Buescher because he won this race last year, right? Or 2 years ago. He won this race 2 years ago. He's been 7th and 4th since then. I think they've got great momentum. I think they're great on short tracks lately. When they weren't so good at short tracks prior to, I think Bristol was their first short track win, and then they went on a little roll. So I just like the momentum, and I think this team's got something to prove after missing the playoffs.
Well, something to prove is the story. I think we're burying the lead. 5-1 for the favorite. Trav, I know we're going to have to exclude you as the producer of Actions Detrimental. You can't give us an honest opinion, so I'll just exclude you out. Tampa Timms, can Hamlin do it?
He definitely can. I mean, he's the Bristol god, but I don't know. I think he's overthinking this whole playoff strategy. Some people might think that this is how he just writes it all and wins and moves on, but I don't know. I feel like he's going to do something. There's going to be some mistake. I think he makes it the next round. I don't think the win is necessarily what happens for him.
You know what this actually reminds me of is one of those really good teams that you expect to go and they get a close one, and finally they just lose that one game. And I hope he doesn't happen here, but I feel like that could be just one of those ones where just something happens and the season's over.
Yeah, if they were running better before the playoffs started, I probably would have been like, no, they can bounce back. But they really weren't running well. So it's very easy when things are going bad for you to overthink a strategy and try to go a different direction, and it completely bites you in the ass. And I kind of think that's happening.
This is like a Notre Dame who just plays too easy for 3 quarters, just assuming it's going to come together in the 4th, and it doesn't. right? An ill-timed fumble, an ill-timed issue. I think Hamlin's going to have speed to win. I think he has the ability to win. I just agree with Tampa that I don't think it's his mistake, right? I think he can lock it down. I don't think he's going to do something. But in the, they call it the Coliseum for a reason. In the confines of Bristol Motor Speedway, anyone's mistake can wrap up and collect Denny Hamlin.
Denny Hamlin has to do what to advance?
Score stage points. I know that sounds dumb. He's going to run inside the top 10. I think inside the top 5. But I think Brad K will be right there with him all day long. I think Ty Gibbs was one of the best cars in the spring. Now, he didn't get on the right side of some of the tire management things. That's one of the drivers he's trying to gain points on. So for Hamlin, I think it's just not going to happen at the end of the race. Like, you're going to have to score. Oh, Russ, what do we think? I bet he's going to have to score. To feel really good about it, he's going to have to find 10 stage points. He's going to have to be top 5 in both stages or better. That's 10 to 12 stage points. I think that if you get behind early and you get blanked on stage points, it could turn into not a must win, but you could be put into a situation where a win is becoming more and more necessary.
I think he needs a 40-point day. He needs to go out there and think, I need at least 40 points.
And I think you could do that. If you score 10 in the stages, 12 in the stages, and then run like 5th, you have nearly 40. You have over 40 points.
We didn't say this, but he's won the last 2 races there.
That's your department, Russ. That's why we didn't say it. If we stole all your stuff, you'd be even more dry.
Russ, what's Denny's track record with qualifying at Bristol? Because obviously he needs to qualify well to get that first stage 1 points.
Super good. 3rd, 2nd, 4th, 2nd, 7th, 10th, 1st, 5th, 7th. Last time he started outside the top 10 there was 2018.
This is going to be crazy because we talk about multiple cars in the playoffs, but I think Hamlin's biggest competition is Bell and Gibbs. I think it's inside his camp. The other storyline that could happen is Larson maybe will get even in this battle that they've had forever. Will it be Larson that beats Hamlin by a nose to eliminate Hamlin from the playoffs or something like that? That's a NASCAR storyline if you've ever heard one, right? Like, look at Tampa smile. He can see the headlines right now. The bump and run, Larson over Hamlin. Like, there's so many things that could happen.
Oh, I love it. I love it.
The best part is, the night race was when 20 years ago, it was special. Like, it was a ticket you couldn't get. It was nearing Masters level, right? That's why they expanded the place to what it looks like now. People you heard stories, I don't know if this is true, but you heard stories like people giving their Bristol tickets up in their wills, right, to their next generation. Like, it was a must-get ticket. And it went away, right? It lost some of its luster. Between football season and other things, it really diminished in its kind of event. And lately, last 4 or 5 years, it has had that special feel again on property. When you walk on property Saturday, there's people everywhere. There's campers on the hillsides. The drag strip is full. And I think that's what we have again is the stage is set for the drivers to put a special, Dale Sr., Terry Labonte, Jeff Gordon, Rusty Wallace. Like, the list is long of the moments. Will we create a moment Saturday night with kind of everything on the line? And I think Hamlin has kind of set the stage inadvertently to be either, are you not entertained with the sword in Victory Lane? He can give us all the movie gladiator lines he wants, or it's going to be somebody else taking it from him.
Let's go to Tier 3, Russ.
Which color is that? Which color shade of green are we calling that?
Is it like a moss?
It's like a moss or a mint color. Alex Bowman, William Byron, Joey Logano, Josh Berry, and Bubba Wallace. Any questions?
Yeah, Bowman. The books have him 17th.
Russ has finally come to the table.
I don't like to say this, but he was 4th there in the spring. He was 5th there 3 years ago, and then he's just been running well, like scoring
his
points.
His top 10 bet his top 10 bet's the bet, plus almost 2-1 on money for him to run on the top 10. Bowman, look, this isn't even a knock on Russ. This is a tip of the hat to a guy who's under fire and having to answer questions about his job and all that stuff. Bowman and Cindric, whether we like it or not, they deserve a tip of the hat. They deserve some attention. I know they're not the flashiest. I know they're not the biggest names. But if we only follow the big names, then we're not doing our jobs. If you look at performance and human performance in the first round, Bowman and Cindric deserve the accolades. I mean, they showed up in the playoffs in a big way.
Can I add Suarez to that list?
Yeah, maybe a little.
He's
sleepy.
36.
Yeah, for sure. You're right.
Tim's, did I see you just place an Alex Bowman top 10 bet?
I think so. I must have missed it. I thought it was a minus or something. Because the Alex Bowman top 10's been our bet all year. I mean, it's been a while since I actually placed it, but I mean, it's been cash all year. I love it now. There's another tier 3 guy I like top 10, Josh Berry, plus 145.
You've been chatting him up on the damn text all week. I'm ready for it.
I mean, it's his track. He I think he finished 12th in the spring, Russ. Like he was obviously wouldn't have cash,
here.
but yeah. So but he's good here. He's a short track ace. It's tire fall off. It's tire wear. That's Josh Berry special.
I think the hard part with that Bowman bet is he's going to be right there in that 7th to 13th range.
That's where you're going to find that plus money value, though. You're going to have to sweat some of those guys out a little bit. Unless like somebody like a Bell or somebody struggles in qualifying, they got to come from 30th. But even then, you're fighting for like plus 105 or whatever.
All right, so we like Bowman. The only reason I bring up, please keep going down the predictor because you have my head explodes. This might be the highest Spire car ever in the predictor.
Yeah, Carson Hocevar, 16th. Top of the next tier. I got a lot of tiers this week. And then I got Truex.
How about Spire? Spire, 3 cars.
Yeah.
Found some speed.
Legitimate. Like, they ran there. It wasn't like something weird happened.
So Hocevar 16th, and then I want you to say this one a couple times. Who do you have 17th?
Well, this is like his worst track. Martin Truex Jr. It's like his worst track. Yes, he finished
Tier
second
4?
there in the spring, but this
You have
is
him in
just
Tier
not
4?
a... What's that?
Tier 4?
Well, the tiers worked out a little weird this week, but yeah.
You have
He
to
only
give
has
back
3 top 10s at Bristol, dude. In 34 starts. 3. 3 top 5s. 3 top 5s, 5 top 10s.
Well, that sounds like a fade Truex in the matchups.
Damn.
Not to mention that if a meteor came out of the sky on Saturday night, it would only take 1 car off the racetrack, and it would be Truex.
So, Buescher, minus 115 versus Truex.
Oh, yes, for sure.
Keselowski, minus 125 versus Truex.
You know why Tampa's not saying anything? Because he's
Writing
scrolling
it down.
right now. He's like, oh, wait, hold on. Slow down. Hold on. I'm on my
You
app.
said Chris Buescher? Yeah.
Yeah, that's Chris Buescher from Prosper, Texas.
Got it. We'll put that
Population.
in.
Yeah, what's the population, Russ?
Well over 30,000.
Oh, boy.
So who you like to win, Tim's?
Me? I just think it's a Christopher Bell kind of week. I think there's going to be a race here in the playoffs where Bell kind of wins and solidifies that he's a real championship contender. I think it's this week. I also like plus 850 because he should be kind of in the Hamlin and Larson range. And then I agree with Russ. I love Buescher. He's a momentum kind of guy. He can rattle off 2-3 wins in 4 races. He's done it before. He's really good here. And I got a Russ stat. Joe Gibbs Racing, RFK, they've combined to lead 84% of the laps in the next-gen car. So you got to have at least one of those guys. Keselowski you could throw in there on your card. I think Buescher at 17-1 is better odds or more value than Keselowski, and he's running better. So I think that's a good pick for RFK car.
Tampa coming in hot.
Drop the
I like
knowledge.
It's early. He's coming in good, though.
Woke up.
I like the wins. Can we just talk about some long shot top 10s real quick? Because I feel like this could turn into that race. Like, I don't think it's going to, but let's just have a conversation. Some names jump out at me. Professor, I've done no homework on this. Please go ahead and start squashing my opinions. What I'm really looking for is Cindric, Suarez, Stenhouse, and I see Priest is highlighted, so we'll add him to the list.
Let's go
I
one
want
at
it
a
noted
time.
that I wasn't the Priest question. Huh?
Cindric, I would stay away from.
Okay.
Best finish here is 20th. Just not a short track
That's a
guy.
problem.
Either.
Yeah, well, like, great highlighting, Trav. I love that. We went right to red. How about Priest?
Priest is a short track guy, but I just think he's too inconsistent.
I concur, Doctor.
Like
Suarez, we just gave him accolades.
If we can get Priest as a top 20 guy, I would love that. But I don't think you got top 20 odds anymore.
Nope.
But he's definitely like his last 6 races at Bristol, I think, have been like anywhere from 9th to 18th. But just one top 10, so.
Okay.
Who else you want?
Keep going. Suarez and Stenhouse.
Suarez, I don't mind Suarez, but he's a little inconsistent too when it comes to Bristol.
We're talking 5-1 though.
I'd still stay away from it. The only thing that helps you is like he's been top 10 the last 2 short track races, but I know short tracks are tough when you compare Bristol to a short track. So,
agreed.
What about McDowell? He's a little up there. He's like plus 300.
So I like him. He's been 11th, 6th, and 11th in the next gen car at Bristol.
Tampa, the amount of work Tampa does, boy, he sifts right through it.
You should see him on a Wednesday at the office. My man's got Excel sheets out and
I'm
is
out there
researching numbers.
There's also, so if you like McDowell top 10, he's in a group that he's plus 360, so a little better odds against Bowman, Briscoe, and Bubba. Now we also like a Bowman top 10, so that scares me a little bit, but he's basically just head to head with Bowman in that one.
So Stevie, what would you say on betting some of these guys on the bubble this week? Would you be afraid of any of that?
No. I mean, the only one that would scare me is like, say Hamlin, you had him to win, and he was running second, and that got him in on points by like a decent margin. I don't think he's going to drive up and try to pass whoever the leader is. He's just going to run second to win, to move forward. Like, that would be the exception. But to be honest, I mean, even from the TV booth, it's chaos. Like, we've been there. I know you've been there, Professor. You're trying to count points and moving forward and back. And they'll do it. Like, remember Bubba Wallace last year? He kind of got into a straightaway by himself, and he had the mittens on. He just wanted to get to the finish. So there will be some of that in this race, but it wouldn't really affect my betting.
I've got 2 questions for you, Steve. One, as a crew chief, are you telling your driver, like how often are you telling your driver where they stand? Are you just, early on, it's like you can't even worry because it's too fluid?
We're going to come in with a plan, whether it's aggressive or conservative, and then I only update them if the complexion of the race has changed. If someone we're racing against or a key member of the playoffs have had an accident, if they've been eliminated, if the stuff, if I haven't told you anything different than what I told you before the race is still the plan. But hypothetically, say Gibbs wrecks and that pops Hamlin in. I'm going to tell him. I'm like, hey, DH, Gibbs has had an issue. So we're automatically in now. So now we're really racing Truex and this guy. You know what I mean? Like but until the complexion changes, I'm not updating you.
And then my other question is an NBC question. So in like the first stage, you guys show sometimes who is in and who is out as of that moment. Is that projecting that whatever spot they hold, they're going to hold for stage 1, stage 2, and the end?
Yeah, which is why we don't love putting projections in the first stage, because a top 10 guys are really taking 3 bites of the apple. So if a guy's running, for instance, hypothetically, say we have a guy in and out of the cut line on 10th and 11th, running 10th and 11th. The guy in 10th is getting 2 extra points because we think he's going to finish there in stage 1 and stage 2. That's why when somebody makes a pass in the first stage of the race, the live points go crazy because it's a big move of positions. Now, the counter to that is, when people say that isn't fair, the counter to that is, well, that's how important it is to run well early in the race, right? Like, if you can run there, it's real. So I really try to avoid projected positions. What I think the best time to take a breath is after stage 2 has closed. What we're going to try to do after stage 2 is closed is I'm going to basically say, Denny Hamlin needs to outrun this guy by 5 positions, or this guy needs to outrun Denny Hamlin by 4, or I probably will be able to say Harrison Burton must win the race, or you know what I mean, like, or maybe not. If Ty's had an issue and Denny's had an issue, then Harrison Burton might only have to run 11th. Like, we're going to try to give you much more targeted And for the fan at home who's frustrated by that, the pit road's doing the same thing. Remember, this isn't like this is NBA, not 3-on-3, right? 3-on-3, you're just trying to score 21 points. If you get there, you win. In the NBA, you have to outscore your opponents. Well, this is the NBA, right? You have to outscore the people on the cut line that are moving around. And then throw into all of that, Denny Hamlin instantly leads the race and the cut line moves by 1. So that's where the math becomes, that's the other thing, Tampa, that blows people's minds. It's kind of like the juice and gambling. I went 1 for 2, I made money. No, you didn't. You actually lost money because you paid the juice on your loss. So it's kind of that way in racing. The win and you're in is a fascinating thing, and I don't want it to go away. But it does make the math very complicated on how somebody gets in. Here's what I tell everybody. This is like me in the FedEx Cup playoffs when it comes to golf. Drink a beer and just, when the guy makes a putt and they say, ooh, now trending 30th. I don't say how. I take a big gulp and I go, okay, cool, good for him. Like I'm not trying to be silly, but it's right, Tampa, just get your frosé, sit back.
I was watching the end of the Watkins Glen race with people who just started getting into NASCAR because of the Netflix show, and they were very confused on how the points worked on the live points because they're moving, and I'm like, just wait till there's a caution, they'll reset, they'll explain everything. You're looking at just the snapshot of 9 to 16, that's it, and just know this, they've got 2 races left. I'm like, next week at Bristol, they'll actually be eliminated, but this is just hypothetical right now.
That's right.
Appreciate it. That's helpful.
This is like, when you still have hope in the fourth quarter that your Eagles could score just one more time.
Yeah. You start doing the math if you're over, that's 40 points away.
As soon as you do the math on what do I need? What I need here is I need a pick 6 and then a quick field goal.
Denny Hamlin is the Falcons, and he just needs Ty Gibbs to drop the ball.
Too soon.
We got a couple. Let's. What else? Race and overtime. I don't love that.
We got for the first time, we got some names highlighted in the group bets.
Well, he mentioned the Priest one. He liked
No, McDowell.
Oh, you mentioned the McDowell one, yeah.
Yeah. Priest, over Stenhouse, Austin Dillon, Noah Gregson, I think Priest can outrun all of them, especially at a tire wear, short track type of race. Chase Elliott,
I agree,
too.
but
I like
you're
all
going to have
that,
to
too.
check that on your NASCAR.com app because that baby ain't going to be on TV.
No. I'll be screaming for, show that, 20th to 23rd battle.
Right? Is that too direct, Professor? You're going to be that guy that's sending me hits on X saying, the thing scrolls too fast. I can't compare 22nd to 28th.
That is my one NBC complaint. The playoff ticker's in the way of my 21st versus 26th bet. I need to figure out who's running 21st.
Tim has to get time and scoring up.
Yeah.
It's like when you open your ESPN app and you're like, top 25 football. No, I need every FBS game, thanks.
FCS. I need to go 2AA.
I don't like the next one you have highlighted. I'm sorry. The Elliott, Logano, Blaney, Reddick scares me dramatically.
Well, who's your biggest scare? All of them?
Yes. The truth is yes. Yes is the answer.
That was the third one, at least the one I liked, so I can live with that.
All right. Anything else for Bristol Cup race?
I got one. We talked about McDowell a lot. Top 40 is 25-1, and if you look at the 3 next gen races on the concrete, he was the third top, second top, and fourth top, but second active driver. It was Custer and Harvick that aren't in the race anymore, aren't in the series. So listen, they haven't cashed, but he's really just got to go up against Buescher, who's plus 260, and I'm not taking that.
I think at that number, that's
it. It's just the number.
It's a sprinkle.
It's a sprinkle, small, maybe quarter unit play, and see what happens. He's top 10. There's only going to be 9 other guys in the top 10. Odds that they're all forwards are very slim.
I like it.
Should we move to Xfinity?
Please. We can't skip with the
Big name in the
with
field.
the old man in the race. We can't skip it.
Plus 1,000.
The old man we're speaking is Dale Earnhardt Jr. making his return to the Xfinity Series. Is 10-1. And if you remember, was it last year that his floor caught on fire and burned his fire suit while he was running like in the top 3 or 4?
Yeah.
Now, our guy should be the favorite. Mr. Concrete is just so good on the concrete. But man,
I think I have to just put like $1
You're
down.
obligated. You're obligated, actually.
Like you can't walk in on Monday or Tuesday and see him next week and he happens to win and be like, nope, didn't do it.
So the only question I have is the one I don't see on here is am I missing a Ryan Truex? Won at Dover, back in the Gibbs car.
I don't see him on the sports books.
He's an other? Is there an other list?
There's not another. They've been slow to
Okay.
push out, but that's odd that he's just not.
Well, because Ryan Truex is in the race.
Okay, let me ask you this, though. We think that Dale could win, but if he's up there against an Allgaier...
Don't even use a car he owns. If he's up there against Custer,
Any playoff driver.
he's going to run. Dale's the type that I would be shocked if he runs into somebody. Right? They're going to run into him, and he's going to concede, which I think is the reason why we all like that he's in the race. I'm not saying he's going to pull over for them, but he's out there having fun. Like, he doesn't want to.
He doesn't want to ruin somebody's day
He's out
or season.
Yeah.
Ryan Truex is plus 1,000 as well. FanDuel just updated their odds.
Okay.
I like that.
Oh, I knew Professor would get on top of that one.
He didn't do this on purpose, but I mean, look at the time that we've been going on the pod. So
I know.
let's hear it, Russ.
Yeah, let's go ahead. Tell me. that you
Stevie
love
already
the
said
most.
he's just in that Gibbs car. Gibbs is really good here. He won it at Dover concrete, high banks. At 10-1. That's the bet. Allgaier is really the bet. Like he's got to be the favorite to win, like overwhelmingly favorite to win. But I just it's way too hard to bet plus 250 to win on that.
And guess who finished second last week at Watkins Glen? Sheldon Creed.
Oh, that's right.
12th time in his career.
Mr. Second Place.
It's too bad, like a craps table, you couldn't bet second place straight up, like a horse race. I'll take Creed for second.
That'd be nice. That'd be fun if you could pick exact position.
That comes back to the little wheel with the hamster. All right, what else we got? Can we move on to our degenerate parlay yet?
Hold on, I don't know when this will be out, but Christian Eckes in trucks tonight. That's my pick.
All right, if you're listening to the pod tonight on a Thursday night, oh yeah, you are right. A Thursday night, Christian Eckes.
You got a doubleheader tonight,
Travis
Stevie.
just placed that bet. Tampa's placing the bet as well.
No, I'm
Thursday
checking to
night
see if there's
football.
odds. I don't see truck odds right now.
The race is today.
Well, Russ, I don't make the odds.
Whoa! Language.
Russ, you're the one that
Speaking of which,
reports
hold
to
on.
Vegas.
Was that a Tops Bo Jackson shirt?
Yep.
That was a good reference, Tampa, just from the top third of it,
I don't
wasn't
know how
it?
you saw that. Yeah.
That's a Tops Bo Jackson shirt. That is spectacular, man.
You had his eyes in the KC hat. That's all you had to work with.
Listen,
I'm still
man.
waiting on my Dirty Mo sweatshirt from Tim's.
I do owe you that still.
You can get it in Phoenix at dinner.
Yeah. We'll do the exchange.
All right, new segment, boys. New segment.
Well, hold on. Should we go over some of our bets first, and then we decide what we're gonna? Are we just unloading
You're
the parlay?
telling
right
our
at the beginning?
listeners aren't writing it down already?
I mean, if you want to unload the parlay first, we can.
Oh, you mean go over some of our football bets?
Yeah.
Please, go ahead.
You know I have to start with the player prop.
Oh, boy.
I'm going to Tennessee. Dylan Sampson. He's rushed for over 100 yards in all 3 games this year. His over-under is 86.5 yards rushing. I think Tennessee's going to go to him a lot. I think he hits that mark.
I got no, listen. I can't even get behind a player prop. I'm just going to blind tail it because that's what I do.
I got your Friday night blind tail. You ready?
Oh, I am ready.
Syracuse minus 8.5.
Guess where Legal went?
Syracuse?
Oh, yep.
Oh,
You got a big fist pump off camera over here.
Oh,
Big
yeah.
fist pump for the Orangemen.
They are good this year. I'm backing them every week. They are so good.
All right, well, then,
Stanford.
listen, I have internal support for a blind tail there then, so we're going straight to Syracuse
I
Friday
like
night.
that. I feel good now.
The other thing I just learned is my wife won't be sitting in the hotel watching the Xfinity Series race. Apparently, it won't hurt my feelings, but she'll be watching Syracuse football.
I'd like to jump on that. Kyle McCord passing yards over 290 and a half yards. He's been on a tear. He's thrown for 381 yards and 354 yards in his 2 games. I think it continues.
I got a question. Is Nebraska real enough to beat Illinois by 8.5? Nebraska's real.
Yeah.
Nebraska is real enough to beat Illinois, period.
I might take them to cover just because if they don't, I can harass Rick, and that has some high value to me.
Yeah.
That's worth, what, like 2 points?
Yeah, right. That gets it down to 6.5. So that's
And I can
right.
get him at 7.5, Stevie. So shop.
all
your
right.
ball.
Well, I'll shop it around. Trust me. I got IU beating Charlotte by 28.5. Charlotte is awful. IU's not good, but Charlotte is just atrocious.
28.5 is a lot, though.
Yeah, it opened at 27.5 and it jumped over that 4-touchdown number right away. The IU is probably one leg of a big 3-way teaser.
Yeah, if you get that down a little bit, that's good. But I like IU.
Well, I think I'm going to take Indiana. What I might take is Indiana, Nebraska in a 2-way teaser. Because I could get like 8-point 2-way and I get Indiana down to 20.5. They're going to win by 3 touchdowns.
I like that.
I like that a lot.
And that 8 points gets my Nebraska down to -0.5. So now I just need Nebraska to win and IU. Oh, the pencil came out right there for Trav. I saw old Bo Jackson's bat wiggling.
Uh,
For anybody listening, please understand that we are educated in the racing realm. We have no idea in football. We are just a degenerate like you. We appreciate you listening. And tailing's great. Disagreeing's awesome. If we give you bad football advice, please reach out to Timms or Travis on Instagram or Twitter and let them know.
Arkansas State plus 21.5 versus Iowa State. Arkansas State lost by 10 to Michigan last week. I think they actually played scared, especially early. Well, not played scared. Butch Jones coach scared. But Iowa State I don't think is that high-powered to outscore them by 22 points.
I see what you're saying there. I will tell you, I got another one. I'm a big Utah fan. I like Utah.
I think that
Getting points at
number's
Oklahoma
moving.
State. What's that?
Well, I think Cam Rising's not playing. Does that change your opinion?
Oh, I didn't know that. I wonder why the line flipped all the way through.
I think he's not playing. Or Zach Wilson's younger brother's starting, and I'm not trusting that as a Jets fan. I can't back that.
They better make sure he knows which jerseys are which color.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, luckily it's orange. You should be able to tell.
You would think.
But they struggle. I got my other good one besides my leg of the parlay that I'll give out is Louisville -10. I like this Louisville
there. I
team.
just drove by the stadium.
Yeah, I mean it's
I'm a
it's
block
vibes.
away.
That's all it
Cardinal
is.
Stadium.
I mean they're good this year. Georgia Tech too. They had that big win against Florida State, but that's probably the peak of their season.
Well, I hate to say this because I just left there, but Northwestern 10.5 cannot keep up with Washington and Vandy.
Ooh, I like that one.
You think which way?
I liked your saying Washington. I'm writing that
Northwestern
down.
can't keep up at 10.5 with Washington, and Vandy cannot keep up with Mizzou at 20.5. No way. Mizzou is the real deal. Mizzou is going to be steamrolling over Vandy. Vandy lost to Georgia State last week, and they must have known that I'm over 2.5 wins for the season, so they pranced around there and got their asses whipped. And now my 3 wins looks very, very... Georgia State was supposed to be a win. I'm trying to find another win on the board, guys, and it's not looking good.
Just so you know, he was very, very excited about this one too. Like he was spending that money
because
on it.
When they beat VT, I'm like, well, there it is. Virginia Tech, that's the sneaky win. I didn't know they were going to have a sneaky loss.
As someone that holds a ticket with Vandy with under a half conference win, I hope your ticket doesn't cash, Steve.
Listen, I think we need to put both those in a parlay. It's the fade Steve's tuition parlay or Steve's kids tuition parlay.
Maybe that's what I'll do. I can at least pay for this new T-shirt, this new long sleeve tee. Yeah. Legal didn't find that funny. She didn't find the humor on the tuition statement.
Yeah, too soon, Timms.
I'm sorry.
This isn't even a hotel room, guys. This is my new apartment. It's all I can afford. Up in Northwestern and Vandy. Right here. It's like 800 square feet, 1 bedroom.
This program's taken a lot of heat lately. Some of it they brought on themselves. But I'm taking Colorado -1.5 versus Baylor.
Can't do it.
Baylor's just not
Don't care.
good. Also, Shiloh Sanders, I don't think he's going to be playing. The defense is actually better when he's not out there. Sorry, Coach Prime.
I was a huge Prime guy year 1, but man, he's lost his mind in year 2.
I got one more bet before we get to our parlay. USC -5.5 versus Michigan. Michigan's trotting out a quarterback whose over-under passing yards for the game is 114 is the number. Michigan's offense is garbage.
Well, speaking of quarterback, I have one to go along with that. And you know the quarterback I'm talking about. He was the talk of the year, talk of the day. We're going against UL Monroe, Arch Manning, -44.5 against UL Monroe. They're going to let Arch is starting. The other guy had an oblique thing, right? I think that's correct. Still Tampa, right? He's out for one more week.
Yeah.
I think so. Yeah.
Arch is in. And I'm going to tell you, you want to talk about raising money with donors? They are just going to – this game is going to be 72-0. I'm telling you, Arch Manning is going to run and throw and sling, and every time they're going to shoot the cannons off and whatever they do, and it's just going to be raising money at Texas is what we're going to call this game. This is the Texas Alumni Fund.
And UL Monroe's coach came out and said that some of his players faced Arch in high school, and they even beat him. So they're not scared of Arch.
Yeah, well, good thing they're not going to be scared because as fast as he runs, they're not going to touch him. He's going to run right by him. The only way this would be better if it was a Texas Ole Miss game. Now, if it could be a Texas Ole Miss game, it would be like a Manning battle with all the, everybody going, that would be interesting, but it's not. It's UL Monroe, and they don't have it. Texas is going to run. And remember, they got that number 1 badge from Georgia, right? They have to, they got to, once you become number 1, you can't just win games, especially against UL Monroe.
So is this a case where you take the points to cover and then the over? So it's I have it at 45 -44.5, and the over is 53.5.
Wow.
I just load up on Texas. I mean, I do think it's over. I mean, if you need one more bet, I can't put them together in a parlay. I might be able to put those together in a parlay.
You can.
Yeah, then I absolutely take Texas, and then I don't take the over by itself. I take Texas, and I take Texas and the over. If your book will let you dump it together,
You can
take your 1 unit bet and make it 2.6 payoffs. Not that I've done too many 2-game parlays, but $1 will pay you $2.60 between friends.
Earmuffs legal.
Oh, she listens.
Should we get to
You
it?
think anything happens without her okay? I mean, please. Somebody in this. Oh, speaking of which, though, Professor, free-range chicken has really stuck over here in the Letarte household.
It's stuck in my house, too.
So here's the story.
Go ahead.
You go ahead. Well, it starts with Lee Diffie was a school teacher. Isn't that how we got on the subject?
Yeah.
So Lee Diffie was a school teacher to younger kids, and we were talking about kids, and I said that I went to Montessori school until 1st grade. Then, Professor.
Lee Diffie goes, oh, that makes sense. You're like a free-range chicken. And ever since then, it's really stuck, and it's really hit me. It's like we let him out in the morning. We go and let him out of his hotel room in the morning, and he just runs around like crazy, causing havoc, doing whatever he wants. And then at night, I take him back, and I put him in his hotel room.
That's awesome. That's great.
Legal went as far as to say that my young daughter at college is also a free-range chicken. She gets out of the dorm room, she scurries all around campus all day long, and then back into the dorm room for the evening.
I like that.
That's awesome.
Yep,
Yeah.
free-range chicken.
I might be changing your name in my phone to that.
Yep, old free-range chicken. All right, it's
Those
time.
little chicken legs, too. Those little chicken legs.
I do have some chicken legs. I got some chicken legs.
Sticks with it.
All right, 4-leg parlay.
Hold on.
Mine's,
One more thing to that.
Oh.
He's definitely like this because in the morning he comes up hot too. Like in the morning, I'll get a 6 a.m. text. You up? And it's like
We got
no.
one this morning.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
I go to bed about 9:30, guys. So at 6 o'clock, I'm on my second cup of coffee, and I am coming hot.
I'm not gonna lie, that woke me up a little bit. I'm like, all right, good morning, Steve.
That's right. That's right.
I liked it.
If I was in a frat house, I'd be the guy that hits on everybody's door. Let's go. The day is young. We got football to watch.
Just cracks a beer in their ear. Here you go, buddy.
That's correct.
There's a little something to wake you up. You come down when you feel like it. I got eggs on the stove.
I got eggs on the stove.
Get some toast.
That's right. That's right. All right, the 4-leg, if you weren't listening earlier, here's what we do. We're going to start this week. This is a real bet that's being placed. The only rule is it has to be eligible for all of us to take part, so it can't have any racing legs. Professor and I have gambling restrictions when it comes to motorsports. Thank goodness, probably, or even I would have to have a second job or a third job. So it's mostly football, but it's not restricted to football. If you can find a weekend leg on some first round of tennis somewhere out, like this is free. This is free and clear because you're going to be judged on your success rate.
Yes, judging is very much allowed.
Oh, for sure.
There's going to be a lot of...
Yes. I'm not going to tell you what it is, but what we should say is when is everybody's game? Because I want to give them in the order in which they hum. My game is a 4 o'clock Sunday game.
Mine's a 6 p.m. Saturday.
Mine's 7:30 Saturday.
I'm afraid mine's the same as Stevie's.
Oh,
Okay.
yes.
Okay, well then let's start with Travis.
Give me Liberty minus 6.5 versus East Carolina. They've won every game already this year by at least 6. East Carolina just lost to App State. Caden Salter throwing for more than 228 yards a game. I love it. They're a wagon. They're the team I think makes the CFP from the group of 5.
Love that. All right, Tampa. After the 6 o'clock game, we are checking on
Tennessee minus 6.5. You might have to go alt spread because I think it's moved to 7, but the 6.5 on FanDuel is only minus 128, so it's not a lot of juice.
We're buying points. We're buying a half.
Yeah.
We will allow a half-point buy in this thing because we're not going to sit on 7 in a parlay. So
No. Yeah.
I love that. I love that.
Yeah.
Professor, I think you and I are on the same game. What happens if we're on the same game, not having pre-discussed this? Do we just go to a 3-leg?
Yeah, we can.
Because we haven't discussed it. Go ahead, Professor.
Double blame if that misses. So
Yeah.
I like it.
I am on the Raiders. Is that what you're on?
Ooh.
Raiders minus 5.5.
Oh, that's versus the Panthers.
And
That's
let me tell you, if you live in Charlotte, I'm on this. We haven't talked about it. Professor and I haven't even discussed it, and we both took the same game.
It was a hammer for me. That was a hammer for me on Monday night after the dumb Philadelphia game.
The only exception I'll make is I was on the Panthers, but you can hang, because I love this bet, you can hang the Texas cover on me if you'd like. But I think we should do a 3-leg because we blindly showed up with the same bets.
I like that, yeah. If you come to the table with it, I like that.
But it's still $5 a man, so it's a $20. Now it's a 3-way, so real quick, that math, buying a point should pay like $155.50 or something.
20 wins you about 110. Plus 549 odds.
And anything we win, it goes into a bucket, and we're having a big Dirty Mo Dough year-end extravaganza live betting from somewhere.
I love it. I love it.
Or it can go
co-op.
to the Alex Bowman bet. It can go to the dinner in Phoenix.
Damn it, Timms.
Travis said it yesterday.
I said
Knew
when we
it.
do this, I go the second something gets brought, it's going to go back to Alex Bowman dinner. It's not
Don't worry.
us.
Hey, Trav, every time he mentions it, we'll take 2 more stone crab claws. 2 more medium.
One
Steve,
more person off the streets just joined the table.
Oh, for sure.
whatever bottle of wine you were going to order, get a year older now. Just
It's
keep,
nothing for me. I know this is going to be really hard to believe, but it's nothing for the free-range chicken to be so loud at a restaurant that you have to send champagne to the quiet couple who's like kitty corner, who's out like on a romantic night. You know, like maybe not proposal type night, but you know, this guy, he saved his money. Yeah, right. He saved his money. It's like his 2nd-year anniversary with his girlfriend, and he's like these obnoxious guys next to us. I'm like, we're going to have to send that comp bottle of champagne over.
Bottle
out
of
the Bowman
champagne.
bed.
We had to buy them dinner last year because you were so damn loud. And
Legal
here's the
once
thing.
in a while.
Hold on,
I was wondering
hold
why
on.
there was 2 receipts.
This is the same dinner that he divided up the bill for everybody to pay and bought the next to us dinner and then didn't put his card in. He got
Everybody
all of
threw
our
their cards in, and I stacked them up, and I
6
handed it, and I was like, "Oh, I didn't put my card in."
that's just smart.
Hey, free range chicken, nothing. I got a nice pen because of it. You got to you run around and you go back in.
That's funny.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, the Letartes are here on the Bourbon Trail. We didn't even know Louisville was the Bourbon Trail, but we are apparently.
Louisville.
Louisville. I can't look, man. I'm Louisville. I'm from Maine, man.
Louisville.
All right. Well, we're driving to Bristol today. A little bit more road trip, so it's big week. Big week. Maybe I can have the legal drive, and I'll be firing on the. I might do that. I might do my research while we're driving. So keep the texts alive. I appreciate everybody moving the pod. Appreciate all the listeners. I'm sorry it's coming out a little later than normal. Let's see. We got a bunch of football bets. We got the Degenerate 4-leg, which turned into a 3-leg because we're so anti-Panthers. We got our big Arch Manning watch. We love Arch Manning. We got a Tennessee sweat bet. We got a Liberty action. We got all kinds of stuff. We got Thursday night, if you're still listening to this, Christian Eckes to win the truck race. If it hasn't already happened, please let Travis know if you're listening to this after Thursday. Friday night, we have Xfinity with the elder statesman, Dale Earnhardt Jr., in the field. And if he wins, maybe Tampa's going to get even better internet. And then we have the Cup race, the cut race for the first race of the playoffs. The Cup Series heads to the high banks of Bristol, the last great Coliseum. Can Denny Hamlin inch his way into the next round of the playoffs? Tune in and check it out. Get all your bets in, and may all your bets pay off.